Hey, happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Drag Racing Live, where we bench race with the world's top drag racers. My name is Bill Pratt. I'm here with John Bachman, of course, and tonight our guest is Mike Peck, the 2026 March Meet winner in the Instigator Camaro. Mike was fresh off this victory at the famous March Meet at Bakersfield. He's got this nitro-powered Chevy Camaro flying. One of the most respected drivers in nostalgia nitro racing. Mike joins us to break down that win, the history of the March Meet, and what it takes to run in front of the funny car competition in this incredibly tough category. So, without further ado, let's bring him in. Mike Peck, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you so much for having me on the show. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity.
Really great to have you on. And there, the instigator's right behind you there, where you're in a bunch of trophies to your right. So maybe we'll zoom in to see those a little bit later. But so great to have you on, Mike. You know, the March Meet's one of the most prestigious events in nostalgia drag racing and throughout drag racing history. It's nostalgia now, the Heritage Series, but it's been it was the event I always wanted to see. You know, there were always the winners. Then there was the March Meet, right? You had to see, and that was the place where you got to see a lot of people who you may not see on the NHRA trail. Just a fantastic event going back to the 50s. What did it mean to you to win the 2026 March Meet in your Instigator Camaro?
It meant a tremendous amount to me. It was just an honor to win that race. Just based on the history of all the drivers who, since 1958, have won that race. And you got Don Pedone and Tom McEwen, Mike Snidely, I believe, is another winner. Mike Sorokin, and on and on. So it meant a lot to me and my family. It was out. Again, it was more important because it was our first Heritage Series race to win, and to win that one made it so very much special over any other of the races. Well, there are the Nightfire would be the next one that would be nice to win too. But the March Meet was very special. I feel very honored.
That was amazing. And you took on, I mean, I tell you what, Heritage Series Nitro Funny Car Racing these days is no joke. You're out there fighting against guys with, several blocks and huge teams, and you're basically tuning your own car, making the calls at the track, and with your family backing you up. You're kind of a family team taking on the biggies. I was thinking kind of in my mind, sort of like a Jim Dunn moment, Funny Car Summer as you were taking on the big guys. Tell us a little bit about what it's like to bring a knife to a gunfight sometimes.
It's very tough. I mean, it's like you said, it's a very competitive class, and the cars keep getting faster and faster and faster. We weren't the fastest car there. It was Eddie Knox's car, the Provençal car, ran at 5:48 in the first qualifier, which set a new record. But our car was consistent, and to be consistent like that, again, it all goes back to, well, most of it goes back to the shop. I can't reiterate on that because there's so much work to be done to prepare these cars for this type of race. But then also, so much credit goes to my family, my crew, and crew members for getting that car prepared for every round of racing, because there's so much to do. You put in a different rack of pistons there and a new clutch, and you got very limited time to do it all. 2 hours is about the average. And so get that car back down on the ground, get the body back on it, put it in line, ready for the next round. It takes a lot. And I think we have the smallest crew amongst about most teams anyway, which we like it that way though. But everybody does their job and they know what they're doing. And I have confidence when the car's fired up and we're ready to pull up, take it up the staging lanes, that the car's ready to rock and roll.
That's amazing. Well, you're in the Seattle area these days, right? But you're a Southern California guy. Had you ever gone to the March Meet as a spectator when you were younger?
I did, and I went with a friend of mine, named Dean Kanuki. He used to race a little A gas car, alcohol car, but he wasn't racing. But we went up to spectate, and that had to be in the later mid '70s, and I witnessed the March Meet, and but you know, back then I never imagined I'd be back there racing. I did race a super comp car in Southern California at Bakersfield, but never thought much more about the March Meet back then. It was just a place to go race. So it's great racing there.
Heck yeah. Well, it's so amazing, and let's walk through that day. I mean, you had, it's kind of a high adrenaline day. You had a really tough, a number of people to meet, including, one of the best levers in the sport in the final round. Walk us through the day of eliminations, kind of how you got to the final round, and then walk us through that final round.
Okay, well, the first round we actually had on Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, and that's normal for the funny car field with 16 car qualifying fields. There was 16 cars. I believe there was 19 cars that showed up to qualify. We ended up qualifying number 5 with a 5.600.
Wow.
But then again, you had other cars going in the mid 50s, 550s. Bucky Austin's car, I think, ran at 53. But we were still on the top part of the ladder, which is where we wanted to be, because at the previous race there, at the Hot Rod Reunion, we ran a 5:59 in the semifinals and lost, and
Wow.
to Cecil Matthews 5:55, I believe. So going to the first round, we had to race, I believe it's a Nitro Junkies car, and that's a good team. They're all good teams, and they debuted a brand new car, beautiful paintwork on the car, and so Glenn Micros tunes that car. He's a good tuner, and you probably heard of Glenn. He's been around for eons.
Mm-hmm.
But the car, I felt confident in the car itself that we were going to give him a good race and move on. And because he had qualified with a 583, I think, but they were having some issues too with new carb blues, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So we ran him in a great rate. Well, we ran a 558 on the first round.
Nice.
To his 583, something like that, at 262. So that car was hauling the mail at the speed and good ET. So of course we were thrilled. Always thrilled to get by first round and be able to race on Sunday, which is exciting at the March Meet.
Mm-hmm.
So then the second round, we face up against excuse me, it's a little water.
Yeah.
Drew Austin, Pat Austin's son, and they had run they had a close race first round. They raced through the race Jeff not Manise, Jeff the guy who drives Jim Dunn's car right now.
Got it.
But anyway, so that they had run a 563 in the previous round, and Drew's a good lever. His reaction times are generally excellent, and I have to say, whenever you have a lucky round, that was probably my luckiest round because I was just late on the tree, and I knew it when I left, and I'm going, dang it all, and but I know 2/3 of the way down the track, his car started to slow, and we ran another 550 with the car at over 260 again.
Wow.
So the car was so consistent up to that point, and so that put us into the semifinals. And in the semis, we ended up racing Speed Sport with Bobby Cottrell driving,
Mm-hmm.
and Bobby and I fought it out and 7.0 Pro for quite a number of years when we raced 7.0 Pro. And so he's also a good lever, and he's a good driver, and Speed Sport's a good car. So we knew how work cut out for them. But once again, I made a change to the car, more or less because I had to, but so I ran out of time. We had some damage on the previous run, but Bobby left a little ahead of me, not a huge amount, but then something went awry with their car down track towards the end, and we went by and ran a 566 at 260 again. Wow. So we had 3 260s in a row. And then that put us in the final round. And with Nathan Fitco and the Bell Block car, number 2 in the world last year. Great team, just super nice people, highly competitive, and Nathan's been driving really good. So once again, I just knew I really had my work cut out for me. And it was probably the best race of the whole event, really, in both top fuel funny car, because we both left together with 70 lights. He had a 70, my 71, and then ran it down there and just pulled away from him a little past half track and ran that 558 to his 562.
Dial that bad boy in. You're ready to go bracket racing, except for the 66.
Yeah, I was disappointed about the 66, but it was still good enough for the win. And,
Heck yeah.
To keep doing this round to round, it's no easy task, and to keep the car consistent. But it pulled through. And to be honest with you, in these cars, the vision in these cars is not the best. It's hard to see out beside you.
Right.
And even going across the finish line, I didn't really know who won, because I had made that mistake before when I thought I had won and started celebrating a little bit too early and found I had lost. But that was really a bummer. But, so it wasn't until Nathan got out of his car, and I thought he said to me, "Congratulations," but I still had my earplugs in, my helmet on, everything else. So I was waiting for the crew to come down. And hopefully the horn would be blaring on the truck. And sure enough, it was, and I could see everybody's pretty darn excited.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. What a great day. Well,
it was an awesome day. The weather was perfect. I mean, it couldn't have been any better, Bill. I mean, really is just the perfect storm for us. And so hopefully we can continue the momentum and then with the points lead now and run after the Heritage Series points championship. But we've got some tough competitors out there and some very fast cars. So
right.
It's no easy task.
Well, man, you're leading the points now. That's amazing. And
we are.
Folks, we're talking to Mike Peck, and who won the 2026 March Meet and in Nitro Funny Car, which was a huge task to take on and accomplish. Start getting your questions and comments ready right here about 8:30 Eastern time, 5:30 West Coast time. Excuse me, wherever you are. We'll go to John, and we'll go to the chat group and find out what you have to say for Mike. But Mike, let's talk about the March Meet's known for producing some really wild moments over the years. What's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you at that race or during any race weekend?
That's a question I had to ponder over, because I'm thinking, what was the craziest thing that ever happened to me at one of these races? And I thought, gosh, I couldn't really think of too much. But then I was talking to my wife about it. She says, well, let me remind you of what happened at the Hot Rod reunion last year. So I said, what's that? And well, we went into qualifying at the Hot Rod reunion. And the very first qualifier, I think we no, something happened to the car anyway, and so we weren't in the show. So then the second qualifier, we got smoke in the tires on the hit, so we had one more chance to get in the show. And Cruz, I shouldn't say anybody's name, but anyway, so we lined up with a competitor for the final qualifier, and car took off, didn't slow the tires, and it felt good going on the track, and I couldn't really hear or see the car beside me, and went on down there, and then in the shutdown area, I had deployed the chutes on the car and was slowing the car down, and next thing I know, this car is right next to me. If I could have put my hand out the window of the car, I could have touched the car.
Wow.
Scared the living daylights out of me. And I thought that was pretty darn crazy. But so we got the car off the track and started getting ready to pack up the chutes. And I found that the on the left side of the car, on the sill plate or the rear wing, was damaged. And what had happened was that his chute had deployed and it caught the sill plate, which is carbon fiber, and broke it, and did some other damage. And I thought, okay, well, now we got to go back to the pits. I've got to see if I can fix this. At the same time, we've got to service the car, and we've got 2 hours at the most. And my youngest son, Parker, who's a car chief, he's a very good fabricator, but that was the one race he couldn't make it. His wife was getting ready to have a baby, and so I said, I'm on my own, I guess. So he rushed the car back to the trailer. I told the guys servicing the car, I said, you guys are on your own. I said, I got to try and fix this body so we can make the first round. And it took a lot of work, and the NHRA was calling us up and saying, you guys get up there, you got to get up there. And we finally made it up, and then waited for 15 minutes or half an hour.
Of course, yeah. Hurry up and wait.
But we made it, and we went to the semis in that race, and so that was probably one of the wildest things as far as I can think of that's happened to us. Crazy things to see a car at that speed come that close to you, a little unnerving.
Right, it's not NASCAR, guys. Come on. That's amazing. So a couple of questions pop in my mind, right? So one is that obviously because you had to put so much work into it, there's no running that car without that spill plate, right? How much of an effect are those aerodynamics on a funny car? I know you can't break a top fuel wing or you're crashed. There's just no two ways about it. But tell us about a funny car and what you had to do to actually. Did you have to hammer in some aluminum? So a couple of questions.
Well, what I did, the carbon fiber is strong stuff, but it broke enough to where all the mounting screws got pulled out. The piece of aluminum that mounts the body that you mount the sill plate on was damaged badly. The actual spoiler portion of it was bent up pretty good. So what I did, with the sill plate, I did have a piece of sheet aluminum, and I stitched it back together per se, and then it took me more time to straighten out that piece of aluminum on top of the body to mount that sill plate than I did to fix the sill plate itself. And the hammering, and vicing, and bending, and just anything to get the thing back on the car so we can make it back up in the lanes. But what effect it would have had on the car, I really can't answer that question because I've never ran without it. So, but I'm sure it would have to have some effect because it's kind of guiding the car down the track.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would have definitely. We couldn't have run. I wouldn't have run the car without it, just for the safety of it. Yeah.
It makes sense. Well, you go back to, a couple of cars that come to mind are the Corvette curse of the late 60s, early 70s, where just the way that I think it was the way the air moved around that short deck back window that made those really unruly and hard to handle. And then, of course, the Vega panel wagons, which, Don Schumacher tried those and then said, okay, that was a good idea. Let's go back to the CUDA. So because it just aerodynamically just did not work. And so you're messing around, and back then they're going about 200. You got 50 miles an hour on what the guys used to run.
Yeah,
and
260, 262. And some of the cars are going as fast as 265. So it's definitely hauling the mail. And too, I find it interesting to watch videos of this car, and then it kind of gives you truly, especially with the videos that were taken further down track, the sense of speed that these cars are doing, and
Right.
it's insane, really, it really is.
Yeah,
But
that's well, we were watching big show cars do that in 1982, and now here you
yeah,
guys are. I mean, it's your idea of what's fast changes like when you read the numbers, but it's still fast.
it
Uh,
is fast.
and you're a handful of folks who've ever gone that fast, certainly in a quarter mile. Um,
Yeah, well, no,
Pretty amazing.
pretty cool.
Well, walk us through the Instigator Funny Car program. We know it's your family. Who's involved with the team, and what makes well, how do you guys get that thing running so competitive? You're
Well, the car, we originally bought the car from Mike McIntyre, him
right.
and Mike Senior and Junior, and they did quite well with the car. Um, what happened was that uh, when I ran 7.0 Pro in the dragster, I won the national championship in that car in 2015 and 2016 consecutively with a pedal clutch, not a trans brake button. And I was very proud of that fact that I had a pedal clutch in it.
Right.
But the opportunity came to put my hat in the ring to drive a funny car. My daughter at that time was married to Chris Cravel, and Chris was actually driving funny Bucky's car at that time.
Hmm.
And so Natalie knew most of the people, or a lot of the people involved with the Nostalgia Funny Cars, and she told me that Don Nelson's California House Service was looking for a driver. I thought, shoot, I'm going to put my name in the hat.
Hmm.
And I'd never driven a funny car in my life. Always driven dragsters, and so I sent my resume to Don. And after quite a number of telephone conversations, he decided to give me a shot at it, which I'm very grateful to this day. I mean, if it wasn't for Don giving me that opportunity, I probably wouldn't be driving this car right now or owning the car. So I drove that car for a year. Ronnie Swearingen was tuning it.
Hmm.
We didn't win any races in that car that year. Went to we went rounds because Ronnie was a great tuner, and but Ronnie and I didn't see eye to eye in certain things, but we got through it. But I do had a tremendous amount of respect for him and his tuning abilities.
Right.
Well, maybe respect him so much. I used to watch these cars very close, and one of the few cars that you just see a lot of blue smoke pour out the headers at the top end. So anyway, I got a shot of nitro in the veins then, and once you get once you get the shot of nitro in the veins, it's game over. It's you do not want to drive anything else.
Hmm.
I had somebody warn me about that, and the guy said, "Yeah, you gonna drive that hustler car?" I said, "Yeah." I just tell you right now, you get a shot in the veins of that nitro, you don't want to drive anything else, and he was right.
Hmm.
So then that ended, and I thought, well, my old son Mike Jr., we decided that we're a partner up, and we're going to try and find ourselves a funny car. Also talked to Ray Zeller. You might remember Ray.
Sure.
He tuned many nitro cars and the Licky and Zella cars back in the 70s and the
Yeah.
Chevrolets, and ran very well. And so talking to Ray, and then I did see that car for sale with the McIntyres and National Dragster back in the day, but then it disappeared. And then from the advertising, but Ray knew Mike, and Ray told me the car is available. So I called Mike McIntyre up and talked to him, and told him that we're interested in the car. And I was looking at possibly buying the car, just less engine, just a roller, the body, and no engine or transmission. But anyway, make a longer story short, I ended up buying everything he had.
Wow.
Spare everything. I mean, the transmissions, rear ends, heads, cylinder heads. They were going big show. They didn't want the stuff anymore, and so we worked out a deal and drove back to Ohio, and picked up the car and brought it back home, tore the thing completely down to the bare frame and started over.
Wow.
And redid everything on that car. Went through transmissions, differentials, the motor. We got one motor with the car at the time and it's actually that the motor that's in that car right now is the same motor that we got from McIntyre's when we bought it. We have 2 additional motors now for backup motors, but still we nicknamed it Patches because it has a few repairs on it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so got the car home, got it all ready to go, and my son Mike also was working for a company in Seattle, and we were able to get a sponsorship through them, and that's where the Quote Wizard came from.
Wow.
And that was a pretty good deal for us for a couple of years, and so that really helped us too financially buy all the parts we needed, so have a good part supply, and get the car going, and then go through the learning curve with it. And Ray helped us. He helped us for about 6 months, and then I thought, well, I think I'm ready to go on my own. And if I make a mistake, then I'm the one who's going to be responsible for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he was a great help, and I appreciated all his help that he gave us. And then I had help from other people too in the very beginning. Another good friend of mine, chassis builder Mike Krebs, who worked for Don Long. He did some chassis work for me in the car and helped me with the clutch in the early days. But we kind of just found our way through it. We started out running 580s and then 570s, and started picking up on it. The tune-up we got from the McIntyres was pretty close, but I kept working with it, and I keep working with it, not to tune up the car, but the clutches and everything else that go with it, to get the car to the point where it's running right now.
Right.
And to run a 540, I doubt it. I don't think I could run this car at 540, even in the right conditions, to be honest with you. But the goal is, for me, is be competitive and run these numbers, these 550s if we can, 60s depending on altitude, and be competitive and give these cars a good race for money.
All right. Well, that's a great way to do it, because you just did that at Bakersfield. You 550'd them to death, and that's just an amazing story. And I'm an old Cleveland boy myself, so I've followed the McIntyres through their funny car history, back when they used to run a small alcohol circuit car, and kind of way back in the 80s. So it's wonderful.
That's a really super nice family, and I was very sad to hear Mike Sr.'s passing. Such a nice people and nice guy, and it was great doing business with him.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, we got John and the draglist.com super crew out there on the chat line. Would you want to take a couple questions and see what folks have to say?
Of course.
Yes, we're here from coast to coast tonight, and we're really enjoying your interview, Mike. Randy Johnston had a few comments, and I think he had a question too. Right up at the beginning of the show, y'all had mentioned in 1962, he said that he was there in 62 for Snake and the Mongoose.
Oh, at Bakersfield. Cool.
Yeah, Bakersfield. And he said, as far as he knows, Mandy Fry still holds the top fuel record at 549 ET.
Yeah.
And he also mentioned...
Well, here's what I know. You're talking about for funny car?
No, to Top Fuel.
Top Fuel.
Yeah. So
I can't comment on that, because I know it wasn't him. It was the car Mandy Fry was driving. They ran a 549 in 2018, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the fastest top fuel car ever, and the front engine top fuel car.
Right.
And there's actually, the movie just came out, about Mandy driving that car. That's what's the name of the car, Bill? That she drove?
High impact. What was it called? Something
Yeah.
high something
Well,
motorsport.
anyway, it's a great movie. My wife and I sat down to watch it, and to the tuner, the owner of the car, I'm brain fading on his name, but very smart guy, and I really enjoyed how the team camaraderie that they had with that team. And if anybody has the opportunity to go watch that movie, I encourage them to do so,
Yeah,
because it's awesome.
that's an
And Mandy did
amazing.
an awesome job
Thanks, Mike. That is a
driving that
great.
car back then.
Say that again. I'm
Go
sorry, I
ahead.
stepped on you a bit.
I said Mandy, did an awesome job driving that car, and the crew was an awesome crew. They all had it down. It reminded me a lot of my current crew right now. And that's one of the biggest obstacles in racing a nitro funny car, nostalgia nitro funny car, or any kind of funny car. It's the right crew people, and it's hard to find good people. And because you got to remember, nostalgia nitro funny car racing, they're not paid. It's not to show up and work on this car. They do it for the love of the sport and the love of what they're doing. And whereas the big show cars, these guys are getting paid to show up, which makes it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
But like in my case too, my kids were adults obviously now, but they have kids, and so they have commitments and things that they need to follow up on. But they do make the time to go racing with us. Makes it even better yet. But yeah, I'm not sure about, is it Randy? Randy, what guys? John say the guy's name was?
Oh,
Randy Johnston. Yeah, he's in
yeah.
Northern California. Um, he
Okay,
also,
well, I don't know that, and I'm sorry I don't have an accurate answer for it, but I just know that car many Freud drove around 548 or 549, which, as far as I know, is the fastest top fuel car ever run.
Front motor, yes. And Bartone's got close with low fives, 553, I think. But and one of the rear engine nostalgia cars, they come out a couple of years ago. The Rain for Rent went a 47, but that class never really
Okay.
took off. The rear engine nostalgia. But
Oh,
yeah,
I know. That's kind of a shame.
those are cool. I mean, I love this early 70s, in the mid 70s. But yeah,
Sure.
folks, if you get a chance to see that film, Cole Kuntz just put it out and or is involved with it certainly. And yeah, Mendy's the good buddy, good pal of the show. We've had her on back in the day, and need to get her back on. We probably need to get Cole and Mendy on to talk about that movie. But good stuff,
The
Randy.
high-speed car.
Yeah,
That was the name of the car.
high speed motorsports. Big circle
Mhm.
on the side.
yeah, Randy just asked what
Yeah.
the title of the movie is.
We'll have to look it up. It's don't have it right with us right now, but
If Randy could just Google Mandy Fry, and I'm sure it'll probably come up.
yeah, Mendy Fry or Cole Kuntz, you'll find it. What else we got, John?
Well, Randy also asked, where is home for Mike?
Home is Woodinville, Washington,
So,
which is in a suburb of Seattle.
Yeah, cool. Well, let's see. Yeah, what class does your dragster run in?
Well, I ran that dragster. Well, there's a little story to that. The dragster, I built that car, brand new car, built it from scratch. We ran that car to run Top Comp, and Top Comp was the initial class that NHRA formed for, which is now Top Dragster or Top Sportsman. But back in those days, they mixed the cars up, whether it be a door car or a dragster. You could run wherever you wanted to in that class. And then what happened with it was we always started our car with a blower starter, and there was enough people that I guess didn't like that for some reason. And even though we never ever held a competitor up ever, and they said no more blower starters for these cars. You got to bolt on a block starter. I said no, I'm not doing it. So I said, I'm leaving the class. And I did. And that's when I raced with a group out of Oregon with Fringe and Dragsters, and then 7.0 Pro started up. And so I started racing 7.0 Pro. And I also race up in Canada with some blowing alcohol groups up there. We could race any kind of car, rear engine, front engine, whatever had to be some sort of power added to it. And we were very successful with that car. I think it was in 2012. Well, no, 2014. I think we ran 12 races that year and won 8.
Wow.
So it's a good car. It's still around. I don't have it anymore.
I just wanted to tell you congratulations on winning the March Meet, and I thought I'd mention that your dragster is totally cool. I mean, you're a funny car champ, but do you enjoy the dragster just as much?
The dragster was a really, really, really fun car to drive because it had a 3-speed in it with a pedal clutch, and that's what made it so much fun. And when I initially built the car, I had a 2-speed in there with a Bruno's trans brake, and then I decided to put a clutch in it, and that made it so much more fun to drive. It's just a whole different scenario. When I first drove the funny car for Don Nelson, I thought can't be too much faster. I'd run 670s, 212 or so with the front engine car. And this funny car is running 570s, 560s. And I'll tell you, it's day and night. And you stand on the loud pedal of a nitro car and be ready, because everything happens so fast that your brain, it takes a while for your brain to adapt to the speed. And it's near terrifying when you first ride one of these things. So it's a huge difference. I was so surprised. I really was. But love it.
Awesome. What else we got, John? Anything else from our crew or from you?
Dale Broderick just showed up and he said, hello from Dale and Lisa. The March Meet is cool. Hopefully when I retire, we'll drive out and race.
Cool.
Yeah.
Dale is in Maryland, I believe.
Yep.
Dale's looking forward to going to the March Meet. Is that what you said, John?
Yeah, he's got an A competition coupe. It's a blown small block Chevy dragster with a Fiat body on it, and it's really an awesome hot rod. And we'd love to see him come out and run the March Meet. We saw him win it at MIR a few years ago.
Well, then he should. I mean, you got to do it while you can. There's no guarantees about tomorrow.
Yeah.
There you go, Dale.
Well, it's like the nitro thing, making decisions to do this. And I thought, I don't want to be sitting out in the rocking chair on my front porch knowing I had an opportunity to do this and not do it.
Mm-hmm.
At least try it.
Awesome. Wise words to all. John, what else do we got? Is that anybody else with a thought?
Y'all were mentioning something, and I don't know exactly what it was. I don't pay as much attention to the interview as I should. I'm watching the chat board so much. But Randy said that 7.0 Pro is tops. It's the variety of cars that run.
Yeah, well, our guest has won 2 championships in a row in that one. Were those one year after another, Mike?
15 and 16. I think in 14 we missed it by 1 point against Bobby, and Bobby and I had some just really, really good races. And it's funny how both racing the nostalgia cars and pairing up with each other in different races. And but Bobby, when he drove for Bucky, excellent driver, always a good lever. and he's just a great driver. And I have a lot of respect for Bobby. But, and so when you race them, you got to be on your best. And most of these cars, you have to be on your best because there's a lot of good drivers and a lot of good cars, and you can't take anybody for granted, and they can happen any time. So it's just the way it is. It's tough, but gratifying when you win.
That's so great. Yeah, Mike, we had Chris Miner on last week, Larry Miner's son,
Yeah.
and Bobby's driving for him now, and he had nothing but good things to say. Of course, we've had Bobby on the show before as well, and it was always a pleasure chatting with him. But now we know the guy who beat him twice and came 1 point away.
Well, I won the championship. I remember one night we raced up in Sacramento. It was getting dark, and I don't know what happened, but we both both cars kind of 3/4 track on just came to the center of the track.
Wow.
And there was dust and dirt flying and everything else, and I just barely beat Bobby on that one. But he beat me plenty of times too. So it was just always good hard racing.
Outstanding. Well, Mr. John, what do you think? We got anybody else with a thought?
Parker Peck just showed up and he said, "I enjoy racing with you every time, Dad."
That's my my fabricator car chief son. I'm lucky to have him. He's a pretty talented young man, and in a lot of different ways. All my kids are, but he does so much, and he basically tunes the car. So especially like I said before, Bill, a lot of these teams they have a lot of nitro experience, 20 years or more in some of them, and there's some very smart people out there that we race against, and so again, to win the March Meet racing against these types of people is a lot of success. It's just very difficult.
Uh-huh.
Definitely a feather in your cap, and congrats, Parker, and thanks for joining us. And it reminds me of the surfers, a bunch of young guys that came out and beat a bunch of veterans, at the March Meet one year.
They have that. The surface with that one. There's a video is, I don't know if you watched any of those or not, but that's incredible to watch that thing.
Mm-hmm.
You ever watch that, Bill?
I haven't seen the video, but we've had Tom Job on the show, and we're big fans, of course. Yeah, we doing this for 25 years or whatever it's been, whatever 2010 to I guess 16 years. We've been blessed to have all these folks on here. Now we need to pull them out of the archives and make sure people can see those again. And this thing's never going away, so people are going to hear from Mike Peck for many years to come.
Well, we'll see. I'll do as long as I can do it anyway. But it's tough. Maybe if I was retired, I'd have a lot more time to do it. But I'm still working, which I enjoy working. But it's just like 7 days a week, between a job and then the car. But it's okay. I feel grateful that I can actually do this.
Steve Farnsworth just dropped in and he said, "I've got a lot of respect for Mike Peck and his entire family."
And Steve Farnsworth, another super nice person and a good fan and friend of the families. His wife actually went to high school with my wife Wilma in Glendora, and they were very good friends. So Wilma was raised in Glendora, California.
There's no getting away from the NHRA and drag racing out in Glendora.
Yeah, exactly.
You pick a Southern California suburb, and I can probably point you right to a funny car racer or two, or somebody that lives there. It's
yeah,
pretty amazing.
Nice people. Vicky and Siva, super nice people. We enjoy having them at the races when they come out.
Well, glad to have everybody joining us tonight. John, how are we doing? We ready to roll on? And
I think we're caught up for the moment on the chat board, so y'all go ahead, man.
Sounds good. If somebody else comes in, let us know. But we'll continue the show now. We're rolling up on it. Do you have a little more time to spend with us, Mike? I got a
Yeah,
couple
of
more things
course.
to chat about. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk.
And I
Let's
like
go
to,
back to your origin story. Man, we know you ran pro, 7.0, and tell us, how did you get started all together? I mean, what got you into racing? I know that before we came on the show, you and I were talking about some amazing Southern California events that you'd been to. I'd love to talk about some of them and then what actually got you onto the track.
well, it goes back to my childhood, Bill, when I was a little boy. And my mom, because I was born and raised in New Zealand.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, until I was 9 years old. And my mom took me to a movie. I remember the name of the movie. It was called The Green Helmet. It was a black and white movie.
Hmm.
But anyway, it was about racing, and I was so enthralled with that movie that this race cars just stuck in my head. Anyway, to make a longer story short, I got involved with well, my parents moved to California when I was 9. So then, like I said, my dad would take us out to the drags to Irwindale. We lived in the Pasadena area, it's not too far from Irwindale. And showing up there on a Saturday night with a 32 car fuel of top fuelers for one night of racing. And
Hmm.
the push starts back then. And then on the spectate or the pit side, the cars would go right below you. It was so close. It was so cool. But man, and then watching the funny cars, man, that'd be so cool to drive one of those things. But there's no way at that point in my life I was able to do anything like that. But eventually, so in high school, I ended up buying this Jeep and ended up blowing the old 4-cylinder and put a 327 in it, and took that out to Irwindale Racing and raced it. And it went on from there. And then I actually went back down to New Zealand when I got out of high school. And I went through my automotive apprenticeship down there for 5 years. And then got done with that and told my girlfriend I'm going back to California. I'm going to buy a Corvette and Camaro and I'll be back. So I did get the Corvette and the Camaro, but I didn't make it back. So anyway, so just did some bracket racing with the Camaro, and eventually came across this one Camaro that somebody started making to a race car, to a bracket car, and I bought that. It was basically a body, and I put that whole car together and went out and run bracket one, running 1050s with the car. And a guy came up and called me up and said, I'd like to trade you a dragster for that Camaro. And I said, okay, let me take a look at it. I said, that's a nice looking car. I said, okay. And so I made the trade with the guy, and put the motor of the Camaro in there. And that's when I started racing the dragster. And Super Comp was just in its inception at that point in time.
Right.
And so I started doing Super Comp racing, and we eventually moved up to Seattle and bought another car from a guy in Southern California with that Pomona, racing down there, and came back and bought this car. And it was a new Victory car, one of Ron Williams' cars, and beautiful car. And ran that car 15 years or so. The point where I stopped driving it, I redid the car for my wife. She started driving it. My kids drove it. And then that's when I got the idea of getting the front motor car. I said I want something more exciting to drive. So what's more exciting than a front engine dragster? And that's how it all started. And that's where it led to the funny car. So
That's great.
it was good.
Did you ever go to the drags in New Zealand? They got a couple of tracks down there. Mirror.
I did. I went Mary drag strip. When I was down in New Zealand, I bought a 56 Chevy hardtop down there. It was all right-hand drive car. This car was left-hand drive. An old Scottish guy brought it in from San Francisco and imported the car down there. It was like one of three in the whole country, and I ended up buying it off him. And my brother was living up in California, and he sent me down a 454 and a 4-speed and some other parts for it, and drove it for a little bit, and I had to come back.
Well, they're crazy
Southern
for drag
California,
racing down there too, as you know, right there.
Oh yeah, they got some nostalgia funny car too down there, and Australia's big on too.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but you know, I think being raised in Southern California and then the drag racing scene, they in the New Zealand, I did go kart racing, I did hill climb racing, but the drags have always magnetized me back to it. Um, yeah, pretty much it.
Really, really great. Well, my goodness. So, you're talking about how to walk us through like driving a modern Heritage Series nostalgia funny car. I mean, what's the biggest challenge there compared to anything else that you're racing? You talked a little bit about the pure power and the difference in it. How about the short wheelbase compared to the dragsters you've driven? Do you really detect that? Is there a lot of steering required where formerly it was not as much?
There's a lot of steering involved in the funny car. You're constantly moving the wheel. The drags are a lot smoother, and the reaction with the drags is different than the funny car. Um, a short wheelbase car is definitely more challenging to drive than a dragster. Uh, it's just the nature of the beast. And then you couple that with that nitro motor in there, and yeah, they move around, and you got to tell them who's boss and be in control of that car because they'll make their own minds up sometimes. But no, that's as far as the comparison between a nostalgia nitro car and a nostalgia big show car. I've never had the opportunity to drive a big show car, so I can't really comment what the difference would feel like. But the difference between these two cars, one being no computers,
Right.
no, the clutch is not operated by a computer, the fuel system is not operated by a computer. In the nostalgia car, the setup is everything. And when you set your car up in the pit area before you go up the staging lanes, that's it. I mean, I think you really change is pour some alcohol in there if you think it's too much nitro in the tank and the temps cool down or what have you. And that whereas a big show car, you have so much control with a laptop or a computer or timers.
Hmm.
And but these cars, you know, they're not the easiest thing to set up and to get them to be consistent. And you don't have all those adjustments available to you like you do with a big show car. So there's a big difference right there, really, between these and those. And you think about these cars are set up basically the way they were back in the 70s.
Right.
Small fuel pump, small supercharger, single magneto. And this is different.
What kind of cubes are you running? 427, 440, something like that?
I run one of the smaller cubic inch motors than most of the cars. 413.
413. Okay.
I think
So,
we're the only car entered in the March Meet with that motor.
wow.
Yeah,
Tight.
it's not a biggie.
Yeah.
You
It's
can,
not this.
you can. It revs up nicely though.
Mm-hmm.
To
No,
get the
so
pump speed
amazing.
up.
Well, for the folks
Mm-hmm.
who might be thinking about moving up and, or competing in a nostalgia funny car or any nitro class, what's a skill or mindset they should start developing right now? I mean, you came up loving it and you eventually got there. If you had to give somebody a shortcut in terms of mental preparation, do you have some advice?
I do. I thought about that question. I think that the one of the things you got to think about is that you have to have the understand that you're going to be in for a lot of work. And if you're not a hard worker, don't even bother trying because you have to be willing to put the hours in, a lot of hours.
Hmm.
The other thing is, and my wife and I talked about this, is that I would encourage somebody if they had thoughts about putting a team together or driving one of these cars or whatever, would be to try and get on a team uh, and just see what goes into it because it's not all just what you see on the track. It's from the time that you arrive at the track with your truck and trailer or what have you. you set everything up. You get everything out that's in there, set it all up, get the car out, get the car fired up, get it all tuned up, what you got to do, race the car. Then you got to pull the stuff that came out, pull back and back in again, and then drive home.
Right.
And then once you get home, you got to get the car back out again right away, because you can't just leave it there in the trailer, because nitros might be left in the fuel tank or in the fuel system. So it's in the oil everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get it out and get to work.
Right.
So it would be a great idea if somebody had thoughts about it, if they could find, and a lot of teams look for help. I mean, and then I wouldn't be embarrassed about asking a team, do you need any help? Can I even just wipe up the oil off the mat, or help push the car, or even a small job, at least be around it to see what goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's intense. I mean, when that car comes back to the trailer, the body comes off, and then goes up on those jacks, it's very intense. And so that'd be my advice to anybody that had any inclination of doing this. And if they did, go for it. If you feel you got it, go for it and do it. Because the only discouraging thing is, for some people, you don't want to get into it and start blowing stuff up. I've seen that happen, and it's painful, and it takes the fun out of it pretty quick.
Right.
There's some money too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, great advice, Mike. Thanks.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's what I would suggest somebody does.
Well, that sounds awesome.
Team.
Mm-hmm. Sage advice. Well, you mentioned a lot of people that helped you out, certainly your family and stuff, but do you have anybody else you'd like to thank? Sponsors, crew members, family, the folks that helped?
Yeah, I got a list here, but I mean, I'll go down real quickly if you don't mind.
Take your time. I want to hear every name loud and proud. Let's hear it.
All right. Well, first of all, is my wife, first and foremost. And she's been the biggest supporter of all my drag racing endeavors. And she works her butt off as hard as I do. I'll give you a little bit of a hint here how much she loves the sport. Sometimes I say, I'm not done with this, and you don't want to do that. But short story, before we were getting ready to go to the March Meet, 3 weeks before, she dislocated her hip.
Oh my!
So the bone came out of the joint, and there was an artificial hip in there. So they had to get paramedics out to the house. That was a long story too. Get her to the ER. They put the thing back in there, but it wasn't right, and sent her home. And they said, call your orthopedic doctor tomorrow and get an appointment. Well, it was President's Day. They were closed. And she sat in the chair, and she reached down to pull up her sock. It popped out again.
Oh, no.
I had to call the paramedics back to the house, get her back to the ER. Well, I had to do surgery on her the next day. This is 3 weeks before the March Meet. I said, we're not going. We're screwed. And I wouldn't go without her. There's no way. If she can't go, I'm not going. And anyway, make a long story short, we made it, and she made it, and we got through it.
She said she's going to power through and get it done, huh?
First and foremost, I got to thank her, and then my family, oldest son Mike Jr., my daughter Natalie, who does the right head, Brian, her husband, does the left head, Parker does the clutch and tuning, and then I have Zach, who is actually one of my techs that works for me. He does the bottom end. And then I have one other guy that helps us in between named Robbie Pierce, and he was great. He helped us at the March Meet doing the clutch because Parker couldn't make it. But those people, without them, it'd be impossible to do. As far as everybody else goes, the track at Bakersfield, Blake Bowser from Oso Raceway for holding this event, giving us opportunity to race at such a great racetrack, and the payout she paid out this year was incredible. Was a lot more than what we were expecting, and on top of that, Dar Hawthorne, he promoted some sponsors for that event for the fuel cars. One was ARP, fasteners, Stiff Printing, DLS Tools, Good Vibrations Motorsports, Redline Oil, and CP Carrillo. And all those people pitched in something to for the win and the runner-up. So those people, went over and beyond to make the win even better for us. So I can't thank all those people enough, especially on a team like ours, because anyway, the medium budget team.
Mm-hmm.
The other people that I like to thank, and we don't really have any sponsors any longer that pay all the bills. We have what I call sponsors that help us with the parts we need to run at a discounted price if they can. I appreciate that. CP Carrillo, once again, Dart and Sleeves, GRP, Torco Motor Oil, Manly valve components, Faria valves, Littlefield superchargers, RCD engineering, Sander engineering, and Goodyear tires, Carroll Shelby Enterprises. So without all those people helping in some way, it'd be tough. But I don't know if they're listening or not, but I hope they can hear it or hear it through somebody that I truly do appreciate all the help I get. Without all that help, that wouldn't be happening.
Awesome. Well,
And the track owners too, where we go to at Boise, they treat us so well there. And Woodburn Drag Strip. We're going to be going to Spokane, come up here soon. I'm going to go up to Canada for the third race of the year, up to Edmonton for the first time, and then back to Boise, and back then to Woodburn, and then finish up at the Hot Rod Reunion. Hopefully with a championship.
You're a Seattle-based funny car guy. You got to run that circuit up there, just like Gordy Bonnet, Jim Dunn, and everybody else did over the years.
Well, with the nostalgia cars, they did have some races back east, but the problem is the traveling and the traveling now, even now with diesel so expensive, it's even harder. Because there was Tulsa. We went back to Tulsa one year and raced back there. But then they had a race at Bowling Green for funny cars, and then also Indy for Bill Wyndham's group, the Legends of Nitro. But we didn't go to Indy. It's just too far, and it was a week after Woodburn. I said, I can't drive all the way back there, and you have to have two drivers. And so that's all the people who help us, and I can't thank you and John enough for giving me the opportunity to come on your show and talk about something I really love to do.
Thank you so much, Mike. It's a pleasure to have you on. We're thrilled. Well, let's talk. Well, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah. If the fans are looking to want to follow the Instigator Camaro, I mean, on social media or upcoming races or places where they can see the car in person, what's coming up for you?
Well, the social media, Instagram would be where to follow us. Instigator. 2 weeks, so I'll be leaving next Wednesday to head to Boise for the Igniter race, and that's always a great race. This is Nitro Funny Cars, and they have a divisional race as well. 8-car field, so nice. It makes it more challenging to qualify 8-car field in 16. After that, we come back home and regroup and go to Spokane. It was the first time that the Heritage Series will visit Spokane in a number of years. And then this is going to be the tough part, because then we have a week off and then we head up to Canada. Wow. And this part has me kind of worried, because not knowing the parts nutrition we're going to face between Boise and Spokane. And can we have enough parts to go up to Canada and race competitively? Right. And that's where That's my biggest obstacle right now. After Spokane, Edmonton, then back to the Night Fire, which I encourage any fan of drag racing. If you're able to get to the Boise Night Fire, you have nitro funny car, top fuel cars, and fuel altereds all competing. Awesome race to go to. Usually hot, but awesome. And then after that, we go back to Woodburn, Oregon in August. And then have a little break before we head back down to the Hot Rod Reunion.
Awesome.
And that'll sum up the year.
Well, I hope to see you there.
We're not doing. I hope to see you there, Bill.
Yeah, we got another bike. I made it to Irwindale 2 years ago, but I didn't get there last year. But I'm overdue for a Bakersfield visit.
Well, if you decide to come out to one of these races, please come over and spend a little bit of time with us, and you're very, very much welcome to come to the outfit anytime.
Thank you. Absolutely will. Well, sir, before we say farewell, I got an optional bonus question, but do you have a story from the March Meet or your funny car career that most fans have never heard before? One more from the storybooks?
One more quick. What was the question again, Bill? I'm sorry.
Just another story from either the March Meet or your funny car career or throughout your career that most fans have never heard before.
Oh man, that's a tough question, actually.
Or anything you want to share with everybody. Just some final thoughts? How about that?
One thing that I'll say is, as long as I've been racing, I've never damaged a car badly. Last year, the first time I actually tagged a wall at Woodburn in the first round against Bucky, but the back of the car, it just shook, and the back car just came around and then cracked the car up on two wheels, and the left rear corner tagged the wall. Fortunately, it was just more body damage, but that was very memorable. Because you looking at the wall, you can see it, you can come your way pretty darn fast. Other than that, Bill, not really much else. I think once again, I can't reiterate enough how important it is to me to be racing with my family. And if I wasn't racing, I wouldn't be racing without them. Let me put it that way. Because we've raised our kids at the drag strip since they're babies. My wife was due for my first son. We were racing at Bakersfield, but they were wearing a dragster. So I think by racing the kids in the sport that we love so much has made them better individuals, and it's so cool that they still like to come and be with mom and dad.
Well,
I'll end up with that.
That sounds like a great ending. Fantastic. And congrats on all the success. Congrats on keeping the family together. It's definitely a family affair with Mike Peck and company. And a real pleasure chatting with you. Yeah. Good luck, safe racing the rest of the year. When hopefully we'll catch up in October.
I'd love to be able to see you in October, Bill. And again, I'm so grateful for you and John and Kay for having me on the show.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Peck, your 2026 Bakersfield March Meet Nitro Funny Car Champion. Adios, sir. Have a great night.
You as well, sir. Good night.
All right. Man, that was amazing. Let's say farewell to Mike, and let's turn it over to JB for this week's JB's Take and the Racer of the Week. John, take it away.
Thanks, VP. What a great interview that was. My pick for Racer of the Week is Carly Ball from Phelan, California. Or is it, I believe it's Phelan, California. Carly was recommended to me by our producer, Kay Thurkelson. Thanks, Kay. Carly sent me some great racing information, and I'm proud to feature this talented young lady tonight. Carly is an 18-year-old racer who started racing 12 years ago. Carly was able to be at the track since she was a month old, getting to watch her older siblings race and just waiting for her turn in the car. She got her junior license when she was 6 years old. In the younger groups, uh, she was able to get some track championships at multiple different tracks. And when Carly turned 14, she got her license in a junior comp and started racing the junior comp class alongside the junior class. A couple of days after she turned 16, she went and got her ET license so she could start racing with the big guys. For this year, she is racing a traveling series with the junior and the junior comp, and then she is also racing a track series at Famoso Raceway where she races her junior comp, and she has a big block altered that she races Nostalgia Eliminator 3 with. With the current racing, Carly has 4 division wins in a row with the junior comp, with getting the last 2 coming over last weekend. Well, Carly, thank you for this great story. It's been a pleasure working with you on this feature, and we wish you good luck, safe racing, and the best of times in the future. I'll be out of town next week, but I'm looking forward to being back on the 18th when I'll be celebrating 25 years with Draglist. Everybody stay safe and well. You are the most important part of this show, and we love you all. It's a great way to spend an hour together on a Monday night, and we'll see y'all next time. I hope y'all have a happy Mother's Day. God bless America. Back to you, BP.
Thank you, John. Oh man, that's right. Mother's Day's coming up. Hope everybody enjoys that. Also, it's really great to see Carly on a live little interview that Kay Turkelson did with her. So check that out on our dragless.com page. And Kay's out there burning up the mics. We also have a feature with Ratfink's wife. I should say not Ratfink himself, but the artist, of course, Big Daddy Roth, who did Ratfink. Trixie Roth had a really great visit with Kay this last week, and we've got the full video that Kay just put up today, in addition to videos with Carly and videos with the young monster truck driver who's only 17 years old. She was pretty amazing. So Kay's tearing it up out there on the live circuit and sending us good stuff. So look for some of them on our shorts coming up, and look for them on draglist.com on Facebook. So let's talk about the YouTube channel, folks. We're really cranking along. 20 new subscribers this last week, 5,000 new views this week. Thanks so much to everybody for joining us. Welcome to all new. And we're heading for 750 next, and then on to 1,000, and keep it on rolling. The shorts, I just put up some Butch Leal stuff, so look for that over the next couple weeks, and some Rocky and Joey Perone coming up. So all of our past shows are going to be clipped up and made into 1 or 2 minute presentations. But the way we'll work it is each of our guests for that week will be featured both on the show as we did tonight live, and then we'll put up the recorded version tomorrow, and then we'll do a bunch of the clips from the show for the rest of the week. So really excited about this new way we're doing YouTube. It's a lot of fun. Thanks to Sophia, and who's coming, I had to say, sadly, Sophia Roveda, coming to the end of her 90-day internship with us. These are 90-day internships. So I'm interviewing a new young man. At least that's the plan so far. And so we'll see how that goes. But Sophia's been amazing, and I'm working with her to get a paying gig somewhere. And she's already got an interview. So very proud of what she's done for us and thankful. Let's go on to what's coming up. Our upcoming guest, May 11th, Butch Hill of the Nostalgia Drag Racing League will be joining us next Monday night. Elon Werner coming on the 18th from Werner Communications and the NHRA Bracket Bonanza program. We will take a well-deserved break on Memorial Day. Hope you have a wonderful day then. And then June 1st, we're coming back with Steve King of Pilot Racing, who does a podcast himself, and Jeff Atamium on the 29th. The great beast jet car that's been out there for decades on the West Coast. We'll check in with Jeff. And Kay is working hard on some middle of June guests. And of course, she's into July already. So congrats and thanks to Kay for all of her work. And let's talk about Lost Friends, folks. It's been a rough week. Adria Forsythe John Force's eldest daughter, the team manager for the team, passing away on the 28th of April. So sorry to see her go. I didn't know her personally, but she was always there, kind of working behind the scenes as the rest of the family was out front. And just a dear person by all accounts. So farewell to Adria Forsythe. On the 28th, also, Dick Hicks, who helped Jamie Russell of Iron Outlaw Nostalgia Funny Car fame for many, many years. He was Jamie's hero, and actually, Jamie did a lot of midget racing that Dick Hicks owned, and supported the team all the way through Jamie being a little kid, and he's not a terribly old person now. He's in his 20s, I think, and he's always supported Jamie Russell right up until that Iron Outlaw Funny Car. So farewell to Dick Hicks, who passed away on the 28th as well. Also, real sad here, extra sad because it happened as a result of a racetrack crash. Uh, Tennessee Pro Mod racer Jim Brackett passed away on the 28th, also after a crash at Brainerd Motorsports Park a week ago. He succumbed to his injuries, and Jim told his friends that he wanted to race until his last breath, and he did just that, share his friends. And so, farewell to Jim Brackett of Tennessee, also passing on the 28th. On the 30th, approximately on the 30th, Bob Batten passed away. Bob was 96 years old, of Ohio. His wife of 49 years, Elaine, is his widow now. But they were, Bob, Elaine, and Krista shared many winter circles with Chuck Baird and his family when Chuck was running a top alcohol dragster out of the Midwest. So Chuck Baird shares Bob's passing. Again, 96 solid years, and a great friend, passing away on about the 30th of April. And then finally, this one's very close to home. A good friend that I've known, Gerald Baker, passed away on May 1st. Way back in the day, back in the early 2000s, when we ran the classic Thunder Nostalgia Circuit down south in the Carolinas, Gerald was one of our racers. A really super guy, just fun to talk with. Always had his cars running right, and just a super friendly guy. Passed away in the night, unexpectedly, but he passed away peacefully in his sleep. And Justice Daniel, thanks for one of our other racers. Thanks for reporting this and sharing. So farewell to Gerald Baker, a guy that I've been proud to know and to race with. So our condolences to the family and friends of these great racers, and thanks for the thrills over the years, folks. And we do appreciate our racing family. John, before we say farewell, any final thoughts from you on the show?
Well, for being in the rarefied air that Mike Peck exists in, for being a March Meet champion, he's one of the most down to earth guys you'd ever want to meet. And he is matter of fact. He just tells it like it is, and that's the kind of people that we like.
Mm-hmm.
There's no airs about him at all. He was just 100% drag racer, and just as a nice guy that everybody likes.
Absolutely. And I love that family team, and they're just out there consistently doing it. A bunch of 558s, one 566, all at 260. And I guess Parker, man, he's if I'm people are going to start spying him from the other teams, and seems like he's got a great future ahead of him as well. So thank you, sir. Appreciate you, everything you do with your fabulous posters, your fabulous maintenance of our chat line, and of course all the promotion during the week, and just your doggone good friendship. So
Well,
thank you, sir.
I'm going to Hot Springs with Debbie and her sisters. So I just filled out 4 Mother's Day cards today. I'll be handing them out Sunday morning, and I'm looking forward to having a good time up there. I'm definitely looking forward to being back on May the 18th with Elon Werner.
Well, that's fantastic. Having a wonderful weekend, John, and happy Mother's Day to Debbie. My good pal. I haven't seen her in too long.
Oh yeah.
So and I hope a happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. And thanks for the reminder. I've got that. I actually have that well covered on my side, but I didn't say it to everybody. So thanks to the gals out there. We're nothing without our moms. So let's do a wrap, folks. We want to thank Mike Peck, who was really awesome. Great to talk with him. I had a chance to catch up with him before the show, which was lovely. And he did a great job tonight. John Bachman, of course. Kay Turkelson, Sophia Roveda, thank you, my friend. You've made a big, big impact on us, and we're not going anywhere. Sophia's always part of the team. I told her you're not getting off the posters. You're always going to be part of the team, even if you move on to other roles. I want to thank Pete Moriello, Rob McCabe, David Oakes, Mel Bashore, Ron Toombs, and John Mernon II, Dave Weslowski, and Jeff Gilder, who got us all started back in the 2010 era. Special shout out to Nitro Alley, and thanks in heaven to Danny White, the big man. I was doing a bunch of drag racing edits myself over the last week, and I came across his name many, many times, and I smiled. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below if you like the show. If there's someone else you want us to bring you, let's chat it up out there, folks. Check in at draglist.com every day to see what's new. Find us on the Radio Bob Network, and I'll see you next Monday. You won't see John, but you will see me on the 11th for Butch Hill. We're going to talk about the Nostalgia Drag Racing League, so that's going to be exciting. Folks, have an awesome, awesome week. Happy Mother's Day. Enjoy your Sunday, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Have